Hello again and welcome to my 6th YouTube video. I hope you all survived Halloween. This YouTube video is going to take us back to the roots of my YouTube channel because it's going to be about endangered species again, this time on sea mammals, the blue whale. But before I start reading the first part of the next story, I'm going to give you some insight to my last story, The Lady of Hearts, from the Halloween special. So I wrote this story about over a year ago for the Yoko Online magazine for a Halloween competition where I got awarded second place, which I was really surprised about because I didn't expect anything really. And I don't know anything about the human body, but I remember reading somewhere ages ago that when your heart is being ripped out you are conscious for 20 more seconds. So I have no idea if that is true or not, but of course for a horror story it creates a very good sense of drama and excitement when you can use these 20 seconds in the story. I must say that this part of our history, the persecution of the Protestants, the Catholics, the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation, are a very exciting time, because at this time as well so many new power struggles erupted all over Europe that in comparison the plotline of Game of Thrones becomes then very boring actually. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to write some more stories about this time of our history, the 16th and the 17th century. Now, the next story, of course, is something very different. The story is called The Singing of Whales. Please lean back, listen, and imagine the story. My mom is the biggest of them all. I'm serious. She is a blue whale and 30 meters long. Obviously, she is record holder of being the largest creature on the planet. One day, I will be just as big as she is. Whenever one of the other sea animals asks me what I want to be later in my life, then I always respond the same: as big and as strong as my mother. By the way, my name is Serena, and my mother's name is Marielle. I'm her 4th child. I've already met 2 of my siblings. One of them is nearly as big as my mother. At the moment, we are on our way north. We want to journey to the Arctic Sea so we can feast on all the plankton. Then we can swim back into the warmer parts. It is my first journey to the north and I am very excited. My mother is telling me great things about the north. Things that are greater than herself. I can't really believe that actually. But for example, she is telling me that there are the beautiful northern lights which flicker across the sky, or all the other whales who will dine with us at this amazing feast. Over and underneath the sea level there are supposed to be gigantic ice sculptures. Nevertheless, for me, Marielle is the most gigantic. After all, thanks to her, I am here to see everything. Besides, she is teaching me so many things. When we get into a storm, and that happens quite often, she taught me to punch my fins onto the surface of the sea. This is the only way how we can communicate in a terrible storm and don't get lost. Sometimes it is quite lonely in the big ocean. In the open sea, only a few other sea creatures swim close to the surface. You have to dive deeper, but we don't like it very much. Marielle can entertain wonderfully, even when we are alone. She's telling me the most adventurous stories about mermaids, sea devils, and sea dragons. But it's most beautiful when my mother starts singing. Her singing grasps the essence and beauty of the sea, the sky and the sun. Everything that is dear and important to us my mother expresses in her singing. It is the singing of whales. On the day my mother sang for the last time was the day I dived deepest in my entire life. It was a clear and calm sea, and except for us no one was around. My mother was just singing about the treasure of seashells, the pearls, the souls of the ocean. We were swimming just underneath the surface when suddenly we heard a humming. Then a shadow grew closer who was catching up with us. A buzzing sound, then a bang. Suddenly I smelled something. Something I didn't smell since I was born. Blood. I looked at my mother and realized, terrified, that she was the one bleeding. A gigantic harpoon was stuck in her back. I looked scared and full of panic up to her, but she didn't seem scared or full of panic. She just looked at me, sad and full of sorrow. It was one of those looks I only remember from her when the sun was not shining into the ocean, when there was water falling into the sea, clouds blocking out the other great blue above. But this look on her face was even more intense. Hey Serena, I want you to dive, as deep as you can. Stay down there until you can't hold your breath. Then, return to the surface. I love you, hey Serena. Dive. Something told me I should stay with her, with my Marielle, at home. But something told me as well, and my mother told me so too, that I had to dive, as deep as I could. I love you too, Mom. I took one more deep breath and dived down deep. So what our little whale will find down there in the deep, dark ocean, you will find out next time in the second part of the story. See you soon.